Hey, how you doing guys? Zeta here. Today I wanted to talk about regarding Watch Dogs Legion. If you guys are not familiar with, I'm a big fan of Watch Dogs 2 specifically, not so much on the first one, but Watch Dogs Legion has got my eyes very keen on it. There have been few and very interesting informations I definitely wanted to talk about, but as well, I needed to say a few things. Something is definitely going on with this game, and it may not be too concerning because there are also results with the solutions. But anyway, let's get into it. And as such, that Watch Dogs Legion was actually canceling the pre-orders, whoever have pre-ordered the game on the PlayStation Network, the store, and also it has been even completely taken down from the PlayStation Store as well. Now, there is actually a reason to this, has been already clarified. Due to that the game has been delayed indefinitely, we do not know when the new release date of the game will be. So that's the reason why it was completely taken out the store and even canceled the pre-orders of other people who have ended up pre-ordering for this game. Basically, when the game finally gets its new release date, that's when all of you will be able to pre-order once again and just simply hold on to that order and get the game when it does finally come out. Let's talk a little bit more about when it's the presumable new release date for the Watch Dogs Legion. One of the things is actually predicament that it will be coming in August. Now, the reason as well why it will not be coming any sooner than that, because we have to consider the fact that Ubisoft does not really like to release their titles, their games early together, so to say, with its big launches as a AAA standards. Assassin's Creed Kingdom or Ragnarok, based in the Viking era, is also going to be coming out in 2020. This is not a confirmation, but it's more or less it will be coming. Now, the real deal why a lot of people expect it to come out this year is because as well the investors call has been happening. By the way, a new investors call will be happening at the beginning of February. I'll definitely talk a little bit more about that. There's going to be investors asking questions regarding the Watch Dogs Legion, Assassin's Creed, and of course many more subjects as well. Just wanted to go back on my initial point. Now, Assassin's Creed will be coming out most likely at the end, or I should say in fall of 2020. This means that the Assassin's Creed will most likely be coming out somewhere in November mark in that month. But if I've just mentioned that Watch Dogs Legion should get some kind of breathing room from Assassin's Creed, since it is published by Ubisoft as well, they are going to look for a different release time. That's why I've mentioned it most likely will be coming out in August, away from the Assassin's Creed. But we definitely cannot forget about Cyberpunk 2077. Mind you, the investors call when will be coming as well. There's going to be few questions regarding of Cyberpunk 2077 if the developers or I should say publishers are worried about the release coming too close, because mind you, Cyberpunk will destroy Watch Dogs Legion. That's a fact. It's not funny, and that's the real deal, because Cyberpunk has been in development for about 6, 7, 8 years at this point. Also was unfortunately it was delayed too, but I can understand why that delay was a reason for it. But still, new date is at the middle of September. Now, Ubisoft would like to make sure that they have a breathing room from the launch of the Watch Dogs Legion. That's why August makes more sense. If the game does come out in August, then there will be a couple more weeks, even let's just say a month, until Cyberpunk 2077. Also, why I wanted to mention, why would Watch Dogs Legion come out earlier than Cyberpunk 2077? Well, that's a fact, because when you play Cyberpunk 2077, your expectations are going to be going through the roof. This is perhaps as well, this is a speculation on my part, by the way, guys, of course. But this is as well why Watch Dogs Legion perhaps wants to come out first before Cyberpunk 2077. And just definitely wanted to mention, since the last time when there were already these delays happening on the Ubisoft terms and as such, Gods and Monsters as an example, Quarantine as well has been all delayed. It's already been said that all of these games will be coming out after July of 2020. Do not expect this game to come out in July or even June of 2020, because these times are holidays. They usually never any games do come out at period that time. Unfortunately as well, I do understand that a lot of people would rather get their games on summer because, you know, it's free time, it's enjoyable time, so people want to get their hands on perhaps on the games. But it could be considered of different, you know, differently, of course. People may like it, people may not, whatever. Now, but we definitely cannot forget, for example, Gods and Monsters and also The Quarantine. These games we have, like I personally, I should probably rephrase that, I have no idea when it will be coming out, because this does not make much sense for it to be releasing in August. Presumably, of course, if Watch Dogs Legion does come out in August, because again, I've just mentioned Ubisoft would like to have a breathing room from each title that they release and such. September, definitely not an option. 100% not an option for them. Cyberpunk 2077 guaranteed to get most of the sales. After, perhaps, presumably, there is a chance of one of these games coming in October. And November, again, Assassin's Creed Ragnarok or Kingdom, whatever it's going to be named as. It may even go all the way to December. Hell, it may even go all the way into 2021. Of course, this kind of sucks in a lot of cases because, you know, we will have to wait out for so long for a few of these games, and whatever the games that you are guys expecting and anticipating to be one of your favorites, but unfortunately that seems just the case. I want to touch on as well very interesting information regarding the Watch Dogs Legion. Basically, there was an interview with BBC virtually done in the game, and that's actually looked pretty damn fantastic. Also, of course, this means they are marketing for the game a little bit more and more. They've gotten a chance of playing the game as well. Of course, who would not like to give it a shot and see what kind of permadeath will have the impact on the video game, on this game, of course, and see what kind of precautions and repercussions that you could expect and what kind of differences that you usually be interested in playing. You know, right? Basically, if you die, you pretty much respawn, or you go back to your earlier checkpoint, or you go back to the earlier bonfire as an example. Here it's a little bit different in that case. Now it's nothing really out of the ordinary, but still it is pretty cool in its own way. Okay, so the BBC, when they had an interview, unfortunately, they really didn't touch on too many things of new information on the in-game in Watch Dogs Legion, but still the way they have presented it and kind of made this interview together and how they come up with it, that was quite unique and very special in my opinion. I definitely want to put one negative side on that interview though. It's kind of concerning as well because I've noticed it is in the gameplay as well. Just that the lip syncing may need some more work. Perhaps maybe there's some kind of restrictions on the muscle barrier on your jawline when you're trying to have a conversation in the game. The engine in the game, I should probably rephrase that, and it seemed a little bit off. But I don't know, that's just my opinion, speculation on my part, whatever, it's just my thoughts. Now, this is quite interesting as well. It's already been confirmed that Watch Dogs Legion will have a cooperative mode, a multiplayer mode. You will be able to play with your friends up to 4 players, just so you know. We even got one image of this presentation. Now, this is actually concerning because I've just touched on the fact that there is going to be permadeath. It may not be concerning, maybe they will have a different routes to go about. Basically, if one of your online enemies, as an example, they kill you, what does this mean? Are you going to lose your character forever? And maybe you'll just will not count because it's an online mode of it? There's always going to be these differences in how Ubisoft and the developers will go about and what kind of decisions they will rather go for. But still, this is going to be interesting to find out more, and of course we will have to wait it out for that. I still do believe that Watch Dogs Legion will most likely be coming out in August. I really don't see any other route for Ubisoft to go about. There are going to be so many other titles as well coming out. Now, of course, I'm not going to be referring to that as if Ubisoft is afraid of every other game that comes out. Obviously, they're not. How many times have they been releasing all the games as of recently as well, and through the many years as well with the development. Now, there is going to be interesting features in how it will go about as well, especially for its release. We obviously I don't want to say expect the game, well, if there is a possibility to expect the game in 2021, I would say perhaps even earlier than that. Well, at that, thank you so much for watching, like and subscribe. See you guys all later, have an awesome day, and yeah, have a good one.